Amsterdam. Amsterdam.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. It's the Kind Media. We are your hosts. My name is Ocean Sibiano.
I'm Taylor Vera.
We are going to bring to you guys our take on the newly released film titled Amsterdam. This is a movie that stars a laundry list of people and some very notable talents. So I will let Taylor. We'll talk about it in a second, but I'll let Taylor kind of run through who's in it. But we just went and saw this film. Just came from the movie theaters. It's nice and fresh in our minds, and we're ready to do this in traditional fashion. We'll talk about it spoiler free, give a quick score, and then we'll dive into some spoilers. I think you should stay tuned because I think that there might be some thoughts here that differ from what is being said online. So we'll start with who's in it because I think this is a star-studded cast.
Yeah, for sure.
So give us the rundown. Give us a cast, Taylor.
All right. I'm just going to run through the actor names, not their character names, because whenever we talk about it, we'll just bring it up then. Of course, you got Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, John David Washington, Anya Taylor-Joy, Chris Rock, Michael Shannon, Mike Myers, Taylor Swift, Timothy Oliphant, Zoe Zadara, Rami Malek, Robert De Niro.
I think that's everybody. I mean, there's obviously more people.
For the most part, those are the bigger ones that I can pick out.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is like, usually movies have like 2 or 3 superstars. This has like 10.
Yeah.
At least.
Especially as a single non-franchise based movie.
So, these are always tricky movies because, some people will say that having a lot of stars like this is hard to deal with, right? Because sometimes people want the limelight or whatever, I don't know. And it's also a very real thing of like, you're watching a movie and like a character is played by a well-known actress or actor, like odds are they're an important part of the movie. Right. Or odds are they're not going to die. Or the odds are they're going to have something major to do with the plot of the story. Right. But in this case, not saying that's not so, but it's just when you have this many people that are very recognizable, it can make paying attention to the story and tracking the story harder and more distracting. But there also have been movies where there have been a star-studded cast like this that turned out great and were fun movies to watch. So we're going to kind of break down for you guys which end of the spectrum this falls on. And talking about it spoiler-free, I'm gonna take the what seems to be unpopular opinion and say that this movie was actually pretty decent. I don't think it was like best movie of the year or anything, but I enjoyed it. I know that I'm partial to these types of movies that make you think and make you pay attention to what's going on in the story and track different storylines or different things happening. And I enjoyed it. And I am a huge fan of some of the main characters like Christian Bale. I'm a huge fan of Christian Bale, huge fan of Margot Robbie, huge fan of Robert De Niro. I mean, a lot of these guys. I mean, a lot of them I'm a huge fan of. So I enjoyed it. I personally didn't feel like the stars detracted or distracted me from the story. But it seems like the limited research I did that my opinion is the outlier or not the general consensus. So, how did you feel, Taylor?
I mean, for the most part, I think I would agree. I thought it was a very enjoyable movie for me. I understand how sometimes it may be, I guess, confusing. But But in my opinion, I actually really enjoyed this movie, especially because of how many actors there were in this. I was a little hesitant to see if people would be like too much at times and it would kind of be conflicting each other.
Right.
But I actually thought everybody did very well.
I would agree with that. I thought that everybody's performances were really good. There's one person that I don't know if it's because I just haven't watched a whole lot of things with that particular person in it, but I thought maybe theirs was a little subpar compared to the others, but wasn't like bad or anything. But like, yeah, I think that everybody played their roles, and I do agree that because there are so many actors and actresses in this film, each one of them played their role well, and like each one of them was important. You know what I mean? Right. Like everybody
what I enjoyed so much is that like every time a new person entered the screen, I was super excited. Every single time. Because like, oh wow, this person's in it too. Yeah. And then like, you know, everybody just has for the most part has just one little bit. But I don't know, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I thought it was enjoyable.
Just enough for them, you know, to be into the story and stuff. But not everybody had to like stand out or anything.
And I don't think anybody stood out really, like as far as characters go.
Yeah, I mean,
performances for me, is a different thing.
For me, there was 3 particular characters I enjoyed the most out of this movie, but not so much that it like blew everybody else away. Though it's just when they were on screen, like they were just I don't know, like powerful, I guess.
No, I hear you. I'm not really sure why it's getting so little or so much hate. Right? It's just not really hate. It's just bad reviews. I mean, the few reviews that I read were talking about how it was incoherent and discombobulated and it was hard to track and stuff. But like, I don't know. I mean, I guess to each their own. But like for me, I like movies that provoke thought. You know, like sometimes I want to sit down and be mindlessly entertained, and when I want that, I'll watch a Marvel superhero movie. Yeah. But like, I like movies that when I have to sit down, track the story, develop the story, create questions in my head of like who's this or who did that, or you know, how is this person important to the story, or why did they say that? Like those things, that's part of the experience for me going to watch a movie. So I maybe understand people don't want that, but I don't think that makes it a bad movie.
Yeah, I think it just, you know, maybe it's just not somebody else's
not their thing.
Yeah. What I do really love about this movie too is it has a lot of underlying themes that are not popular.
Yeah,
and I even know they're important to me.
Right.
So I like that it's brought out in this movie, especially for the time period.
Right, for sure. I think I know exactly what you're talking about. And maybe that's another reason why this movie isn't getting as much praise as it should be, is because it does touch on some very sensitive topics. Yeah. And for people that...
Quite a few.
Yeah, and for people that don't necessarily have experienced that or whatever, then you know maybe it can be a little off-putting to them. So
and what I mean, we'll get into it in spoilers later, but yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll do a score real quick so we can dive into some spoilers. I'm at an 8 on this movie. I thought it was solid, enjoyed it, would recommend. Like I literally just told my sister to go watch it because I enjoyed it. And especially for people that like stories that take time for the viewer to fully comprehend what's going on and how the story is going to end, and like you don't really know what's going to happen until the end happens. Like that's this kind of movie. Like if you predicted what was going to happen in this movie from the beginning, then you're just a super genius, I guess. But
yeah. I guess.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think I would recommend to, and especially right now when there's not a whole lot in the movie theaters.
Not yet, but
not yet. There's a lot coming later this month. Yeah. There's a lot coming, but for right now, if you want to watch a movie this weekend,
yeah, this is definitely a good movie to go out and go watch.
Yeah, I'd say go check out this movie. It is rated R, but it's a soft R.
Yeah, it's a very soft R. It's just minor
blood,
gore and blood,
but not like bad gore. It's just war gore.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
and it's very brief too.
What is your score too?
I think I'm gonna give this an 8 as well.
Okay.
I enjoyed it, and yeah,
I'm glad to hear that because the car ride was pretty quiet on the way home.
I didn't.
However, I know why. Yeah, because we were trying to save it for this, so I get it. But I was definitely, as I was driving home, I was thinking to myself, man, maybe he didn't really like it. Now I'm gonna have to like try and defend my position. Because I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty decent. Like I was sitting there watching, like, all right, this is pretty fun.
Yeah, and like I was just trying not to talk a whole lot. I mean, I guess maybe you just didn't hear me, but when we were walking back to the car, like I was talking to Scarlett, and I was like, "Oh, I actually really like that movie," and she's like, "Yeah, I did too." Oh, okay. And I was like, "Oh, surprised how well it worked with all the different actors."
Yeah. I didn't hear that, unfortunately, but
which is fine because
now we're gonna talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not seen this movie yet, I do recommend that you go and watch it first, because all of the actresses and actors' performances and the way that everything works, it's just better experienced on screen, and I think you'll appreciate it more if you see it on screen rather than through our voices. So go check out the movie, come back, finish out the spoiler section with us. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your official
spoiler alert.
All right. I'm actually glad to hear that you liked it. I think this is one of those movies that's kind of on the fringe of, like, or it's kind of in a group. Not, I don't want to say gray area, but like if what is it called, a Vex diagram, or, you know, the two circles that intersect.
Oh,
there's a Venn diagram.
Venn diagram.
So if we compare our movie interests and likes to a Venn diagram, we have these two circles of me and your interests, right? And in the middle are stuff like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, you know, Marvel, other things that we both really enjoy. And then we obviously have our separate stuff, like you like scary stuff and I don't like scary stuff. This movie, at least from the trailer, I thought was going to fall more towards my side of the circle than yours, but I'm glad that it's falling in the middle of our circles. If that makes sense.
I guess, I understand what you're trying to say. I didn't feel that way, but I think it's because I know
obviously I know know what you like. Well, it makes me
still, like, it doesn't surprise me that you think that way, but there's a lot of movies that are, like, you'll say is like your preference, but then I actually have a complete, like, the same thing just on a different movie,
right,
and just think it's better portrayal of it. And this to me, I guess, it seems like one of them where it's like possibly not.
Well, it's just nice to see that our circles are going this way instead of this way. Closer, you know what I mean? Like they're overlapping more than they are growing apart. So it's nice to. I'm just glad to see that. So,
like the Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah, that's another one that I didn't really think you would be super interested in, but we were gonna watch it, so we'll see what happens. Yeah. But
I hate
you. So let's. What I want to start off with before we dive into like actual spoilers of the movie is let's kind of grade some of these performances, because we got at least like 10 or 11 well-known names in this movie, like very well known. And I just want to kind of get your thoughts on the performances of each of these people. So let me pull up the cast list that I have, and we'll kind of just work our way down the list and just talk about different performances. So we'll start off with the top, right, or the big three. The main three. First off, Christian Bale. Okay. What did you think of Christian Bale's performance?
Outstanding job.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. This dude is his range and his acting ability is just, it never ceases to surprise me with his ability to play a different kind of character.
Yeah.
Or just bring to life the character that he's playing. Like, I mean, this dude is Batman. Like, Bruce Wayne, Batman. He also played,
American Psycho.
Yeah, American Psycho. And now he's this World War I veteran doctor that's kind of just not all there, really. But, like, I don't know. He's just...
His character in this movie, honestly, almost feels like somebody, like... or it kind of reminded me of Robert Downey Jr.'s Sherlock Holmes.
Oh,
where
yeah.
he's like super smart, but also a little weird, and like sometimes like doesn't seem quite there.
Yeah, he's not quite there, but he's also like he's also paying attention to everything and kind of one step ahead of most people. And he's got a good heart.
Yeah.
All he really wants is just to, I mean, like he talks about in the movie, all he really wants is love, right? Like, and to be chosen, right? So that's one of the big three. John David Washington, what did you think?
You did a great job.
Okay, so this is in the non-spoiler section. This is the person that I was referring to as, compared to the others, a subpar performance. And again, it might be because I just haven't watched that many things that John David Washington is in.
I mean,
I know he's in Tenet, I believe. He's the main character in Tenet.
Oh, I didn't watch that.
I don't really know what else he's in that I have seen. But I don't watch very much of him. So
yeah, I haven't seen a lot from him.
And I don't think he did a bad job. I'm not saying he did a bad job. I just think that his performance compared to the others was a little subpar. Just a little.
Yeah, I guess so. It could just be his...
Or it might have been character writing.
Yeah, it just might be his character writing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he wasn't really given a whole lot, to be honest.
True. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought he did pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Margot Robbie.
She did very well.
I thought she did really well. And I know I'm a big fan of Margot Robbie, but like I thought she did really well. And the depth of her character, to be able to play that kind of depth, to me is impressive. With the whole medication and kind of being a little crazy. Like she's even a little crazy in the beginning, but then she got even more crazy.
She is Harley Quinn, so kind of needs to be insane.
That's true. Yeah. All right. Taylor Swift.
She actually wasn't bad.
She wasn't, right? I was a little worried.
In fact, she kind of surprised me. I mean, she's not on for a long time.
No.
And her exit is so surprising.
So for those of you guys that are going to watch this movie because you're a Taylor Swift fan.
She's only been in a few things.
She hasn't acted much. But if you're going to watch this movie because you love Taylor Swift, I'm sorry to tell you, but
you're gonna get sad.
About 5 minutes of Taylor Swift.
It's gonna be good, and then you go real sad.
And then you're gonna get very, very sad because
she straight up gets just run over by a truck, and that's part of the plot.
I'm not gonna lie, I was shocked.
Yeah, I was very shocked because it happens. Because at first I'm like, oh wow, there's Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah.
Oh crap.
That's exactly how I felt. I was like, oh my god, I love that actor. And then
it's like, oh no.
Oh god, Taylor Swift, no. Yeah. So she gets pushed into a street and ran over by a truck. Very, very sad.
But for the little she does, she did.
Yeah, good. She did well. I thought she did well. Maybe she's trying to transition over to an acting career. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Anna Taylor-Joy.
She,
I know you have...
Of her movies that I've seen of her, this is probably her better one.
Yeah. I think... I'm not a huge fan of her in general, but I thought she did all right. I think she played her character well enough.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, she didn't detract from anything. She did well. Robert De Niro.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah. Anytime
It's
we
Robert
get...
De Niro.
anytime
He's
we
definitely one of the people that I was talking about when I mean,
Yeah.
there's 3 people that stand out. Christian Bale's one of them. Robert De Niro's another one, and then I'll wait for the other one.
Yeah.
But yeah, anytime he's on screen,
He's just drawn to him.
Yeah.
And he's one of those old school actors that has been around for a very long time. And anytime we get somebody like that and they're put in a position where they have to be a like symbol of good, I guess, or whatever, there's just so many good things that come from that, you know. And his speeches, it's just great.
Yeah.
He reminded me of like the real life Mad Dog, you know.
Yeah,
General Mad Dog, like that. That's who he reminded me of in that time.
Yeah, similar kind of feeling.
Guy that's just for the people and for the veterans, for his soldiers, and don't give a shit about anybody else.
Yeah.
All right. Chris Rock.
I enjoyed his appearance in this movie. However, he's Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Like he's funny. He's always hilarious, but he does his usual thing in this movie.
Yeah.
So I could see somebody hating him for that, but
yeah, but he didn't play a major character.
no, he's just a side.
And for
but
that,
still, even as a side character, when he's doing his thing, it's a little extra, and it kind of sticks out. I enjoy it, so it doesn't bother me.
yeah.
But
If somebody
it
was
definitely,
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if people didn't like it.
Okay. I guess that's fair. Mike Myers.
Really good.
I love Mike
Yeah,
Myers.
he actually did really good in this.
And I feel like this is the first time we've seen Mike Myers in like a serious role in a while. Like I don't remember the last time he was in like a
stuff.
yeah, like what? Like what was the last time he did like a serious role?
Well, he's done a lot of different characters. Like a lot of the time, you just have no idea it's Mike Myers because he does such.
Yeah, well, he does a lot of voice acting and stuff. Yeah.
Well, voice acting and just makeup work and stuff, but and it's hard to say like he's done serious roles, but it might not be in a serious movie. But
yeah,
like the thing to me that comes to mind is Inglourious Bastards, which
that was like
is actually another World War II
that was like
movie.
13 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, he's had
14 or whatever.
he had a Netflix special that's just called The Pentaveret, which he's done some
okay.
stuff in that. But
yeah, I love Mike Myers and I love him for his comedy and for his everything. It's cool to see him in a different role than what he usually is.
yeah, I mean, even in this movie, he's not like very serious. Like, there's definitely some moments when he's
there's some
little
comedic
funny.
All right. The other one of that pairing, Michael Shannon.
Yeah,
I love Michael Shannon.
Yeah,
I love Michael Shannon as an actor, and I thought he did great.
yeah,
and
he was good, real good.
Him
and Mike Myers were
yeah,
super.
and their
super good.
dynamic was great. I enjoyed it for sure. Okay, Zoe Zadara. And this is another one of those people that, like, if you're a fan of Zoe, you're not going to get a whole lot.
Yeah, like she's good, but she's not really that important.
No, her character is not super important, but she is a very recognizable name. And yeah, Timothy Olyphant.
Similar thing. He does great, but he's just
his character could have been played by anybody.
Yeah, he's just a supporting character.
It's great to see him.
Yeah, it's nice to see.
Yeah, I'm not complaining that he was who he was in this movie. And the last one, which in my opinion was the best performance of the movie, my boy Rami Malek.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought he had the best performance of the movie.
I agree.
I
was surprised.
I was too. I did not. Because
I was expecting Robert De Niro to do this, which he's the second. But for me, Rami Malek is my number one standout for this movie.
Yeah, I thought he killed his role. He kept me guessing even to the end. Like,
I wasn't surprised.
Well, I'm not saying I was surprised. I just kept thinking, oh, maybe he is good, maybe he's not. I don't know.
Nah, yeah. There was a point in time when I was like, I was just like, these two are the bad guys.
Yeah.
Too many red flags.
Anya Taylor-Joy, literally wearing a red dress. Yeah, but I just his performance was the best.
Yeah,
out of
as
this
soon as he hit the screen, I was like, whoa. Yeah. I mean, I know
it's been a while since we've seen him on screen too. I mean,
I think so.
I don't remember anything between.
But yeah, anytime, I don't know. I just really love him as an actor.
Yeah,
or voice actor. Like, he just does really well. I feel like there's even moments in this. I don't know. This might just be me, but like, I felt a little Freddie Mercury like at times. But it could just be the mustache. But I even felt like the accent at times. I don't know.
Maybe a little bit, but
he was amazing in this movie. I think he did his character very well.
Very well.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are the big name actors and how they performed during this movie. Very great performances. Wouldn't be surprised if somebody in here gets nominated for something at the end of the year. Because there are some very good performances. But let's kind of dive into the story a little bit and talk about what we liked and what we didn't like. This, like I said in the beginning, the story is a little all over the place. We start off in the present day.
Yep.
Of Christian Bale's character, Bert, and Harold, who is John David Washington's character, being employed to do a autopsy on Taylor Swift's character's father. And we get a very classic line from Chris Rock.
I think it was in the trailer.
There's a white man in a box. Not even a box with a lid.
No, I was like, not even a casket. Yeah. Just a box.
Who do you think is going to get in trouble for this? The Pac-Man. But they go on to do the autopsy, find out that he was murdered as his daughter was suspicious of. And then as they are like telling Taylor Swift's character that her father was probably murdered or poisoned, that's when Timothy Olyphant shows up
out of nowhere. And RKO.
Yeah, just throws her under the bus, literally.
It was a truck.
A truck, but yeah. And then he's able to get the crowd that's around it, blaming John David Washington and Christian Bale's characters on it, saying that they pushed her, and that's kind of where the story takes off. Because now they're trying to prove their innocence and also figure out who the hell that person was that pushed her and why her father was murdered. And the story kind of goes backwards first a little bit and talks about...
It does like the backstory of our main characters.
Right, which you see a little bit of in the trailer. They met during the war. Harold and Bert were in the same regiment together, and then once they were injured and went to a field hospital, Margot Robbie's character Valerie was the nurse that took care of them. A little creepy because she would take all of the shrapnel and stuff.
She does all some weird
stuff,
side hobby stuff, but it's
weird.
Yeah,
it's weird.
I mean, it's weird.
It's just, there's not like to me. You just like sure, there's not technically anything wrong with taking the shrapnel out of guys' bodies and then making art out of it, but it's a little weird.
Yeah, it's a little weird for sure.
A little weird.
Honestly, the act of doing that is not really what bothered me. It's just what she created.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff, like a tea set. Yeah,
it's just I don't know. Her art style is
just different. Yeah,
a little weird.
And so from there, they become this trio of people that spend some time in the country of Amsterdam, or city, right? Amsterdam is a city? Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I probably just offended all of Amsterdam right there.
Probably. They'll be in the comments. I'm pretty sure.
But yeah, so they they spend some time in Amsterdam living their best life until Bert decides that it's time for him to get back to reality and return back to New York and return back to his wife and stuff. And this is kind of where a little bit of those underlying themes and tones start to emerge and for me hit home pretty well. Like I have family members that served in World War One and World War Two, and I have heard stories of people coming home from those wars and not being received as the heroes they should be.
Yeah,
And
I mean that was pretty common all the way up until like
pretty
much
recently,
our
actually. Yeah,
generation.
like the Gulf
And
Wars
even then,
stuff.
it's still like, yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
obviously a lot better compared to those times, but
Yeah, I mean Vietnam was probably the worst of it, but even back in World War One, people just didn't care about the veterans. And Bert is a doctor and spends his life trying to help as many of his fellow veterans as possible, albeit some questionable ways because he's like experimenting with medicine and stuff.
yeah, but he's just trying to make new medicine.
But back then, it's kind of just what they did,
Yeah.
But he does it all with good intention. He really is just trying to help people feel better, live a bit longer, and have a better life. And it kind of hit home, especially like the explanation of because there's a lot of voiceover in this movie, right? A lot of narration by the actors or by the characters as things are happening. And during the explanation of him like getting kicked out of his wife's house and his practice getting, closed and then having to open up in the alleyway, it just I don't know. It was super sad for me.
Yeah,
And
there's
I
a
felt-
lot of depressing things that are shown in
Yeah.
this movie.
And I was pretty sad during that time. And I hope that people pick up on that as more than just part of the movie and realize that was real life.
Yeah, probably
And
not though.
Probably not, but I just hope that people do kind of understand that really did happen.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, like you said, it's really sad to me, especially because I know as well, like how people were treated back then. Sometimes even now. I mean, I know. I guess we're biased because, like,
Yeah, we come from
both
that world.
served, but like the fact that, especially from this time period, it's like I feel like I guess just because of our age or whatever, but these generations, like World War One, World War Two,
Yeah.
Vietnam, like there is nothing I could personally do to like
Equate to the things that they went through.
give them, I guess, an understanding of how much I would appreciate the things that they went through, and there's nothing that's gonna stop that. Like they, all those horrors and whatever they went through. But I mean, I at least would, even if it's something simple of like helping them out or something, when people can, like, I don't see why they don't. People just don't care.
Unfortunately, not. And I don't think it would. I don't know if it was an intention of this movie to bring that to light, but I hope that it does. I hope it does show some awareness and bring to light some of those issues. And then the movie carries on, and there's some other underlying tones that come up about kind of like the disconnect between people that did serve and people that didn't. Not like what we just talked about, but literally like there's a scene earlier in the movie.
I would say, I mean, I feel like that makes it sound worse than it is. It was really the distinction between people who served and people who intentionally avoided it.
Yeah. People that found a way out.
Yeah.
Because if you
like the draft dodgers, basically, is kind of what it
exactly.
was alluding to.
So there's a scene earlier in the movie where after Taylor Swift's character is murdered, the police come to Bert's place and start to question him, and Bert and one of the officers served together in the regiment, and so they kind of have this rapport already. And Bert is asking.
He's got a similar injury too, so
yeah. And so Bert is just kind of like, hey man, like, you know me, like, I wouldn't do that. We served. We both wear this brace because of what we went through. And the other police officer that's there didn't serve, and there were very specific. I don't want to say attacks, but just like very specific things said to him.
Yeah, Christian Bale's character was his partner didn't intentionally like antagonize him or anything, but you could tell that he was like, yeah, what he said.
Yeah. The other officer apparently had flat feet and couldn't serve, which is a real thing. I mean, the military does not accept flat feet, but it's also kind of one of those things that's pretty easy to fudge and push through, especially when you're in the middle of a world war. But that guy obviously was like, oh, yep, I don't have to serve. I don't gotta go. And they definitely made sure that he knew that. So that was an interesting scene for me, because I'm curious to know if other people like pick up on that, or if that's one of those things that we only kind of realize.
I'm sure people will probably pick up on it, but it's just...
They don't understand the depth of it.
Well, they just don't care.
Yeah. But yeah.
One thing I would say it's pretty relevant throughout the movie is the obviously racial
for
conflict.
Sure. I mean, it is still the 30s.
Yeah. But I do like that this is yet another movie, which we don't really get too many of them, that includes not just the typical like white, black, racial war thing, but the regiment that they were involved with, which is the 369th Infantry Regiment, aka the Harlem Hellfighters, which is a well-known decorated unit. I just like that they picked such an iconic unit to be involved.
Yeah.
Similar to the Tuskegee Airmen,
and
like Red Tails or something, or I can't remember their number off the top of my head.
442nd.
Yeah.
They've made some films about that, Battle of Midway, all that stuff.
But I just like that they, it's another movie shining light on a historic unit, which does involve conflict, but that ends up doing something, extraordinary beyond what you see in the movie, which has like some asshole officer that's like, you don't deserve the uniforms you wear and stuff, and they force them to wear French uniforms while they're fighting, which is horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insulting to them and the French to do that.
It's ridiculous.
I just like that it had that in the movie.
No,
it's real small, but
it's a piece of real history, right?
Yeah.
And they made sure it was prominent, and you knew, or you saw what happened to them, and it wasn't just part of the movie theatrics or the Hollywoodization of the story. It was real. It was something that actually happened back then. So, yeah, I agree with you. That was good. I'm curious to know what was real, what wasn't. Because this movie, they start off in the very beginning of the movie with saying that most of what happens in this movie actually happened and is real. And I'm curious to know, where is that line? Where's the line of what actually happened and what didn't? I know for a fact that there was a consortium with the intention of overthrowing the democratic government and installing a...
Yeah, there's always...
I know that was real.
Always stuff going on.
What was it? The Office of the Fives or whatever?
The Council of the Five.
Something like that, yeah. I don't think that's the real name. I think it's something else. But I know that entity was real. That actually happened.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious to know, what did they add that wasn't real?
I feel like it was just all the interconnecting things with our main characters. I don't think any of the main characters are real in their stories.
You don't think so?
No. Obviously, like the Harlem, the unit and stuff is very real. A lot of the stuff they went through is real.
Right.
All of the like issues that pop up throughout the movie are real. Robert De Niro's character was real.
Yep.
But I don't think it actually ended up being as big as it is in this movie. If that makes sense.
Like as close to, like, yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's in this movie it's like a huge,
it's a big deal,
nationwide thing, but I don't think it was that big. But yeah, that's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm curious to know. Maybe somebody out there that's more of a history nerd than me can enlighten me on what was real, what wasn't. But I thought that, I don't want to say that I couldn't tell anything, but just like, I didn't feel like anything was forced or added. I felt like it was a natural story and that it could have happened. You know what I mean? So I enjoyed it. Ultimately, this trio disbands for a little bit. Bert goes back to New York. Harold and Valerie stay in Amsterdam for a little bit, and then Bert ends up in jail. So Valerie uses her secret identity life that she never told him about to get him out of jail. And and then Harold goes back to New York and links up with Bert, and they go on to create this practice and stuff. So and then after the killing of Taylor Swift's character, they meet again through some just pure circumstance, pretty much. I mean, she did tell Taylor Swift's character to hire them, but she couldn't have known that they would come to, like, trace back to who hired her, you know. And then they solve it together. You know, three greatest detectives. But it was fun. It was a fun movie.
I mean, they got Batman on their side, so.
Yeah, of course. It's the world's greatest detective. The story gets a lot more complicated, a lot more complex, a lot of moving parts. And then in the end, we find out that Valerie's brother, who is played by Rami Malek's character, or Rami Malek, was the bad guy all along.
Yeah.
Right. And that's pretty much the movie. Except for a whole lot of, like, back and up and down and left and right and all kinds of craziness in between.
Yeah.
But for me personally, that's part of the reason why I liked the movie, because it kept progressing. It never was stagnant. It never was stale. Kept adding more and more to the story. Kept progressing the story, and in the end, you know, the good guys won, I guess. But it was more so of just
not
like,
really. I mean, if you really think about it, no. But actually, let me put it in a better way. The good guys win the battle, but the bad guys win the war. Well, but they lose the war.
They do. Yeah,
it's confusing. But, when you watch the movie, you'll understand what I mean.
The war we're referring to is World War II, because this storyline plays into the start of World War II. Basically, Rami Malek's character was a Nazi.
He's not a Nazi, but he's
affiliated.
Yeah, he wants to be a part of the Nazi party.
He wanted to create what Hitler was creating in Germany in America.
Yeah.
But Batman stopped him. So we're good.
Yeah. Of course. Batman
and Margot, or not Margot. And God, what is her name? Harley Quinn.
Oh, her.
And whatever John David Washington's character's name is from Tenet, because I don't know. I never watched it.
I didn't watch it.
They stopped the American Hitler. But it was a fun watch, ladies and gentlemen. I enjoyed it. I don't think it deserves all the negativity that it's getting so far. I mean, on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 33%.
Yeah,
and I know Rotten Tomatoes
sucks anyways.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that go off of Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
and
that's the thing that sucks is
it
you
makes
should know
it
Rotten
valid.
Tomatoes is garbage themselves,
Well,
but people look at it because it's like a well-known name, and it's like the go-to name, so people are just like, oh yeah, go by the score.
The problem with Rotten Tomatoes is that for critic reviews, it's either yes or no. It's not like critics give it a score and then it averages the scores. It's literally just, did you like it? Did you not like it? You're either one or the other. So if somebody's on the fence, or like if they were to score a 5 or 6 out of 10, they can only score a 0 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. And so that makes to me, that makes the score on Rotten Tomatoes a little skewed, because you got to actually read the reviews to find out if the person actually like hated it or just thought it was
honestly
average.
Just screw the critics. The trash. Like the audience the audience score is honestly just better.
At this point, who are they making movies for? Are they making movies for the critics, or are they making movies for us to go watch and enjoy and pay them money? Yeah. So, yeah, screw the critics. I agree. We're the critics.
For the most part. I mean, we are, so screw us. But, you know.
Yeah, but we're just sharing our opinion. We're not saying, like, the movie's trash. So, I recommend that you guys go check it out. It's a good watch. It's fun. I don't even know how long it is.
It's a little over 2 hours.
Yeah, didn't really feel like it. It felt pretty fast. But yeah, let us know what you guys thought of this movie. Let us know what you guys thought of these performances or any of these guys.
Oh, one last thing I really liked about this movie is the constant use of singing in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's it's not like super important, but
yeah.
And I would imagine they all sang it themselves, but I actually really enjoyed all the songs they sing in this movie.
Yeah.
From these three or even some of the other characters. Like, of course, that was the first thing we get with Taylor Swift is, can we sing? Of course. Yeah. That was good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Nah, I that's a good point. It's not a focal point of the movie. It's not a musical movie, but there is music.
A decent amount of singing.
Decent amount of it, and it's well placed, and it's fun, and it's good.
Yeah, and I don't remember the name of it. There's like some French name, but it's like the nonsense song where it's just random things they pick,
random phrases,
put it together, but they make it sound great.
Yeah, it did sound great. But yeah, let us know what you guys thought about the movie. Are any of the performances by these actors and actresses Oscar worthy? In my opinion, there might be a few. Maybe not main actor, but some of the supporting actors, I think you could make a case for being nominated for an Oscar. So thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate you being here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this movie, and maybe we can kind of turn the tide against all of the other critics that think this movie is not that great, and tell them that, we the people actually enjoyed it. But yeah,
it should be like that one part of the movie, and it's the I don't know what they're called, but they look like Hitler Youth people, and they're like the veterans are all singing like some I don't know which song it is off the top of my head, but it's just funny because like USA.
I thought it was great when those guys were heckling Robert Niro's character, and he's like, if you had any courage, you'd be speaking to me in English.
Yeah, and it was another great moment is imagine having the balls of somebody like Robert De Niro being on stage. Somebody tries to assassinate you. Yeah. And he's like, the coward shooting at me?
Whoever shooting at me is a coward. You're a coward.
Yeah, he doesn't even move.
Yeah. The glass that's next to him gets hit and explodes, and he's just like, whoever shot at me is a coward. It's very reminiscent of...
I wish I was that cool.
Of Ronald Reagan's speech when a balloon pops, and he's like, missed me.
Yeah. So good.
It's great. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for being here. Let us know what you guys thought of the movie, what you thought of the performances. We appreciate you guys. We got a lot of content coming to you guys this month. There's a lot of movies, a lot of movies, TV shows, and a few games that are coming out, and we're going to be pumping out a lot of content, probably like 3 or 4 uploads a week at least. So please let us know what you guys are thinking about the uploads that we're putting up. And in addition to that, we have been slowly making a lot of changes to like thumbnails, titles, the actual video itself and whatnot. And we'd love to hear you guys' feedback. What you guys like, what you don't like, any suggestions you have would be great to hear. So thank you guys. Appreciate you. Please like, subscribe, comment, share with a friend. Check us out on social media, Any Kind Media Cast on Twitter and Instagram. We'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Amsterdam.